Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the H&H Shorts
Why are you
podcast.
talking like that?
You like that? I was doing my announcer voice. Anyway, welcome back to the podcast. It was a crazy week of football, both college and pro. Um, the pro no lead is safe in the NFL apparently. Like 21-point lead blown by the Ravens. Like Tua Tagovailoa got in his Alabama bag. The Browns blew a 13-point lead in a minute, like a minute and a half or something, to the Jets with Joe Flacco at quarterback. Absolutely crazy. Browns poverty franchise. And then the Raiders blew a 20-0 lead in the second half to the Cardinals, and then the Cardinals ended up winning in overtime. Absolute madness. And college is always just wild. What college game stood out to you this week, Jack?
I got a couple. The App State game, that was crazy.
Right.
That was wild. I thought for sure that game was over, and Troy had that game won.
Bro, I almost big brained it. I picked Troy. They were gonna win, and then App State wins on a freaking Hail Mary, bro.
Another one is the Miami Texas A&M game, I think, because I think Texas A&M looked better. Yeah, I think Texas A&M looked better, but I didn't expect them to win that game. Like I thought Miami was gonna win that game, but that stood out to me.
What we predicted to happen was like the exact opposite happened. Like, we knew A&M's offense was like unreliable. They still were. They only scored 17 points, but
yeah,
Miami they couldn't score either. Like
right.
It was just A&M's defense just waking up and acting like who they like actually are, and that's a good SEC defense. And they acted like that against Miami. Just somehow couldn't act like that against App State. The darlings of college football at the moment.
Yeah, another question is Florida State legit in the ACC?
Through 3 games, they've played bad teams.
Yeah, that is fair. They have played bad teams, but I think they've looked decent. Like,
could you say LSU is a bad team?
Do what?
Would you say LSU is a bad team at the moment?
I wouldn't say they're a great team. I wouldn't say they're terrible.
There's a line, good and bad. What line? Where on the line would they be? Would they be more on the bad or on the good?
I think they'd more be on the maybe like right in the middle, honestly.
They're just mid. They're not
yeah, mid. I think they're just not great, but they're not just terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, LSU is, even though they won, neither team in that Mississippi State LSU game looked like great at all. That was hard to watch. Sometimes a low-scoring game can be any.
A Mississippi State team that looked great the first 2 weeks, though.
I know they finally played an SEC defense, and
right.
They struggled to start the year against the SEC, but. That like sometimes low scoring games can be like cool to watch. Like, oh, there's so many sacks, there's so many turnovers. You know what I mean? Like nobody could score, but all this really was just a bunch of like 3 and outs, and it just felt like a like an NFL game. It wasn't fun to watch. Mainly because LSU just isn't good, and they just struggled the entire game. And a game that stood out to me was the Penn State Auburn game. This game really showed.
Yeah, that's another one.
This game really showed how bad Auburn was. The first 2 weeks were deceptive because Auburn starts off 2-0. Are they going to be good again? No, that is a bad football team over at Auburn, and Penn State showed it. Like on the road, they murdered Auburn. Like they they killed them. Like on the ground, especially the 2 freshman running backs said they murdered Auburn. Like absolutely killed them. It was that was like. It was pretty eye-opening, like of how, us predicting that Auburn was going to be pretty bad. Like, they start 2-0, but no, they're actually not that good.
I forgot about this one. Another one for me was BYU and Oregon.
Yeah, we expected BYU to at least be in the game.
I thought BYU was. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of bought into starting to buy into the BYU hype.
I mean, we both picked.
Yeah, BYU. I mean. I just thought BYU was a better football game.
The Georgia game kind of scared us away from Oregon a little bit. Like, oh, they lose by 40. Like, I mean, maybe Oregon's not this good, but like it kind of was like an unfair assumption because they played Georgia.
Yeah.
Like every team that's played Georgia so far has gotten, shellacked. And it's kind of unfair to treat Oregon that way. But like Bo Nix hasn't looked bad. I mean, he still looks like Bo Nix, but like he hasn't looked terrible. Like he looked great against BYU. And Oregon's not this bad of a football team. Like I can see why they were favored.
Yeah. But I just thought BYU was better. I mean, maybe I bought into the hype too soon, I guess. Kansas, Houston.
Dude, Houston, like unless they went out, they're not going to be in the New Year's Six or whatever, depending on the field. But Kansas 3-0. I saw this thing where it was like the first time
Kansas and Duke are 3-0.
And Kentucky and like all the blue blood basketball schools are all like undefeated at the same time in football.
People were saying College Game Day should have went to Duke and Kansas instead of.
That would have been so cool. Like they could have got
him, but like this ain't basketball, bro. Like that's not a more attractive game than Tennessee, Florida.
I know, but that would have been so cool. Like if Kansas wins, they probably ranked or whatever. Like they hadn't been ranked since like 2008 or whatever. But that would have been cool. Like they could have got like Mike Krzyzewski to pick a game, just like flip between the sports. That would have been kind of cool.
It would have been.
A game that stood out to me though was the Arkansas-Missouri State game. Arkansas struggled the first half. Like they were down multiple scores against that team, and Bobby Petrino being the Arkansas's former head coach, kind of made this like a meaningful game somehow. Like Missouri State and freaking Arkansas, like in any other universe, that's a like immediate Arkansas win. But Bobby Petrino being the head coach of Missouri State, coming back against Arkansas and like the terrible ending that happened with them, just made it an interesting game. And Missouri State was making it a game. Like it looked like they were going to win in the first half, and then Arkansas, woke up.
Yeah, I don't think it's time to panic about Arkansas. I think they're still a good football team, but yeah, they did struggle early.
Are they the third best team in the SEC?
I don't know. I was sold on it a couple weeks ago, but Kentucky's looking pretty solid.
I don't know. Will Levis is struggling.
He is a little bit. Kentucky looks solid. Arkansas looks solid. Tennessee looks solid. I don't know who the third best team is.
I think Tennessee is the third best team in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that, but it'd be interesting to see who separates themselves. Like that Tennessee and Kentucky game is going to be crazy if they're both undefeated going in.
Tennessee's got a behemoth of a schedule coming up.
Yeah.
Really,
I think they play Florida this week. I think they're off the next week, and then they're at Death Valley against LSU.
Speaking of Tennessee, Georgia, Florida struggled against South Florida.
Bad.
I'm looking stupid for the Florida hype because Anthony Richardson is.
You looked stupid before, so I mean. Week one, you did. After week one, you didn't look.
I looked like a genius after week one. Oh, they beat 7th-ranked Utah. All is right. I got my Florida prediction right, and then they lose to Kentucky, which isn't a bad loss because it's a ranked conference opponent. But then they struggle. It's a bad USF team. Like they're bad. Like they're gonna win 3 games. Like they're bad.
Yeah, and ever since week one, Anthony Richardson has not looked good.
Has he thrown a passing touchdown yet?
No. He has 0 touchdowns, I think 3 interceptions.
Like, this is what I was saying last week. Like, I'm worried they're gonna like, teams are gonna figure out like how to guard Anthony Richardson, and it's gonna be tough for them to score. Like, I'm worried about that, but I'm still trusting my gut with the whole Oregon or the whole Florida hype. I still think they're probably gonna pick it up, but it's not looking good. It's not looking good. They're struggling. They've had some tough games to start, but they're last week really might have shown people how good Florida really is.
Hey, they won one of them.
I mean, I guess.
some tough games to start. They had 2 tough games, and they went 1-1 in those 2 tough games.
It's college football, man. Like I could
Well,
I don't know.
last year Tulane almost beat Oklahoma.
At Tulsa almost beat Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State almost made the playoffs. So I mean, we could see this game as like, oh, it's not really like we should throw it out the window, but we also shouldn't. Like it's USF, and Florida should be like killing those teams. Like if you're gonna be a great football team in college football, you got to kill the teams you're supposed to beat, and Florida hasn't. Like I know it's one game against a bad team, but they didn't do that. Like when you get the chance to play those bad teams, you take advantage of it, and you those are stat games. you kill the competition and you move on to the next game, get prepared for a ranked opponent or whatever. And Florida hasn't done that. Oklahoma, Nebraska was first game without Scott Frost.
Kind of what we expected, to be
like
honest.
At first, it was looking like a good little game. Like Casey Thompson starts off hot. Nebraska, getting all excited or whatever, and then Oklahoma wakes up and runs away with it. That seems to be the theme of a lot of these games. The better team starts off slow, and then they run away with it.
My UTSA prediction was over Texas. It was looking pretty solid for a minute. The final score doesn't tell the story of that game. I didn't watch the game, but I kept up with it. You had to keep up with that game because UTSA was hanging tough for a while.
Like I said, it's a theme in a lot of these games. The better team ends up pulling out in the end.
Yeah, Texas pulled away late, or maybe like third quarter or something. I don't really remember, but
I don't know how to weigh this for Texas because UTSA is not a bad football team. They're a Conference USA team.
They went 12-1 last year.
They're not bad. They took it to Houston. Where's UTSA? They're 1-2.
They're 1-2. That doesn't tell you the story of how good UTSA is.
Yeah, they took it to Houston. They barely beat Army in week 2, but Army's a weird team, option team or whatever. And then, they had Texas's number for a little bit, and then Texas obviously pulls away. But UTSA is not bad. They're the 1-2 record does not tell you how good Jeff Traylor and UTSA really is. UTSA is going to be good. They're going to win at least 9-10 games this season.
And he's going to be a candidate for some jobs this coming off season.
Jeff Traylor's got that team looking right. He went straight from high school to UTSA, and within a couple UTSA's looking nice.
He's been there 2 years, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, UTSA's looking good.
This is his second year?
I'm pretty sure.
College football week 4 pick'ems. You ready?
Unless you want to talk about your Georgia-South Carolina game. I don't think there's much. I don't think there's much to talk about in that game. Georgia's just.
There's
good.
not. I was wrong. There's not. I mean, sue me. I was wrong. Anywho, Clemson, Wake Forest.
It's a tough game. Clemson. I mean, DJ's looked. DJ. I'm gonna go Clemson. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, or I'm going Clemson because Clemson.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I think Wake Forest is a good team, especially now that they got Sam Hartman back.
He's looked decent.
Whatever he was out, I don't know, personal reasons they said, but I think that makes them a better football team. But I think I'm gonna take Clemson. Clemson
is the past half decade plus, they've been the bar in the ACC, and I'm gonna say they struggled, but they had 10 wins. They struggled last season, but I said to start the season, not having their usual coordinators there, they're gonna probably struggle again this season. I had them making the Junior 6, but I think Clemson's gonna win this game. I think they just have the better talent overall, and I think Clemson. They beat them last year when Wake Forest was better. So I think I'm gonna go with Clemson. Is this at Clemson?
It's at Wake Forest.
Oh, I'm still going Clemson.
Yeah, I'm still going. Yeah. Next, Baylor, Iowa State, at Iowa State. I don't have the lines this week. I forgot to put them on there.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna. Is this at Iowa? Is this at Iowa State?
Yes.
Oh, this is tough.
I'm gonna go Baylor. I don't know why. Iowa State lost to Iowa, so that should tell you something.
No, Iowa State beat Iowa.
Did they? I thought they
Yeah,
lost.
Iowa State's 3-0.
Yeah.
And they've looked decent. You know, they haven't played great teams, but they've looked decent. They're putting up points, except for against Iowa. But Iowa has a good defense.
They have a good offense. They got a good defense.
I might go Iowa State here. My upset of the week.
I'm going Baylor. I'm going Baylor.
Who's favored? I'm about to look who's favored in this game. Iowa State is favored. They're -3.
Wow.
That's the home. It's the home field. I think.
Yeah. Probably.
But this isn't technically an upset if I picked Iowa State. I'm gonna go with Iowa State. I'm confident. I'm gonna go with Iowa State.
It's not as crazy as South Carolina over Georgia, but I'll take it.
I'm gonna go Iowa State. I like that pick.
Moving on. Next we have TCU versus SMU. Sonny Dykes leading his Horned Frogs going back to SMU for the first time since he left.
It's only his third game or whatever, but you know Tanner Mordecai's looking pretty good again. You know, slinging it. I think TCU just like struggled to find their starting quarterback this season. Their starter went out in the first game. I forgot his name, but he's like a freshman. And I think Max Duggan is their starter now. Is this at TCU?
It's at SMU. So Sonny Dykes returning to SMU.
I'm gonna go with the Horned Frogs here. I just think they're better. I think, you know, I'm not gonna go into it. It's TCU. TCU's gonna win this game. I think this could be a high scoring game because SMU under Sonny Dykes puts up a lot of points, but like, you know, they still have Tanner Mordecai at quarterback. I think this could be a shootout, but I think I'm gonna still go with TCU.
Give me SMU an upset. Is it an upset?
Let me check. Is this an upset? We're gonna stay on here live. Baylor.
Is this an upset?
Not Baylor SMU. This is TCU SMU. A lot of U's. Where's this game? I can't find it. They really doing them dirty. Oh, this is top 20. I'm sorting by top 25. Hang in there. TCU SMU. Where is this game? I'm gonna find it eventually.
I was just kidding. They're not actually a game.
Imagine we pick a non-existent game. Do I have it short?
I made it up.
Okay. TCU is favored by 1.5 points.
Not really. I mean, it's an upset, but not really.
I'm still gonna go with TCU. You know, they're still a Big 12 football team.
You're right.
I'm still gonna go with TCU.
I'm gonna go with SMU. I mean, SMU's been really solid the past couple of years, but obviously Sonny Dykes was a big part of that. But like you said, they still got the quarterback. I just think they're a good football team, but I'm gonna go SMU.
Did you put Duke, Kansas in here?
That's the next game. That's the next game. Duke, Kansas.
This should have been game day game. The Blue Buds of basketball meeting off in football. 3-0 versus 3-0. The powerhouses. Kansas is favored by almost 8 points.
Wow.
That is like they're riding the Kansas train, bro. I'm going with Kansas. I'm going with Kansas.
At the same time.
Hashtag rank Kansas.
Yeah, I'm going with Kansas too.
Rank Kansas.
I haven't watched a lot of either of these teams.
Duke beat Northwestern. I don't know if that's like a thing, like a good thing, but they beat a Big Ten team. Duke's been aight, but Kansas. I'm riding the Kansas train, man. Give me Kansas.
Yeah, give me Kansas as well.
It's weird saying as a Memphis fan, but give me Kansas.
All right, now we move on to the real college game day game. Florida versus Tennessee. You riding that Florida train?
I don't know, man. This is in Knoxville, and Tennessee's good.
Give me Tennessee. I almost wanted to go Florida for an upset pick,
This is rough. This is rough.
but I'm picking Tennessee. I think Tennessee's a better football team by a lot.
A lot.
On offense, yeah.
I mean, Florida has the chops to keep up offensively, but it's if like
It's a rivalry game though, so it probably won't be a blowout.
I think this is either a Tennessee blowout or this is a shootout. Because Florida's got a good defense. Like they have a good defense. And I don't know, man. Tennessee's look great.
Yeah, they've looked pretty solid. Now, granted, they've only played Ball State, Pittsburgh, and
I mean,
Akron.
they even look good against Pittsburgh. Like the score is deceiving, and yeah, Pittsburgh finished without Keaton Slovis, but they were up 2 scores for most of that game.
Yeah.
I want to pick Florida so bad, but Florida's been shaky.
Yeah, you struggle with US or South Florida. I'm probably not going to pick
Like
you.
that, like they're pretty much opposites, man. Like Florida's, they got the win against Utah, right?
This isn't a top 10 team, so they're not winning this game.
Like they got against Utah, that was in Florida. They struggled against USF, but what Tennessee has done that Florida hasn't is they've killed the bad teams that they've played.
Right.
Like murdered them. You know what? Give me Florida. Give me Florida. I'm picking Florida on the road at Knoxville, not confidently, but because I'm riding the Florida train. I'm picking Florida. Anthony Richardson is going to throw an actual touchdown pass this week against Tennessee.
Just one?
At least one. And he has to. To win this game, he has to. Florida is going to win this football game in Knoxville.
You're definitely riding it. You're definitely riding till the wheels fall off.
I don't care what Morgan Wallen says. I don't care what Dolly Parton says. I don't care whatever the fisherman names guy is, whatever his name is. I don't care what Bill Nance. I don't care what he says. I don't care what any of them say. Give me the Gators.
Texas and Texas Tech.
Where's this at?
It's at Texas Tech.
Man. This is a game that one of those games that Texas loses.
Yeah, I'm picking Texas Tech in this game.
I'm probably gonna go Texas, just because you picked Texas Tech.
You just want to be different. That's it.
To be honest.
All right. Oregon and Washington State.
Oh, new Washington State quarterback Cameron Ward has looked aight this season, and Washington State exceeded expectations last year, even after firing their head coach.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Where's this at? Is this at Pullman?
It's at Washington State.
That place is rowdy. I picked Oregon to lose last week. I'm gonna pick Oregon. Talked to State, but I'm gonna pick Oregon. Yeah. This is gonna be close though. This is gonna be a close game.
I think it's a good game, but I think I just like Oregon.
I wouldn't be surprised if Oregon lost because Washington State's not that bad. But Oregon's probably still gonna win.
Yeah. Arkansas and Texas A&M.
Right.
At Texas A&M.
Bro, Texas A&M just stays at home, huh? I'm probably gonna pick Arkansas. I just don't trust A&M right now. I know they just beat a ranked team.
Yeah.
But I just don't trust A&M right now.
Yeah, I'm riding Arkansas. You know I was high on Arkansas to start the year.
But I was high on A&M to start the year. Like something's got to connect. You know what? I'm gonna take A&M. I'm gonna take A&M.
Maybe your predictions just suck. You ever thought about that?
Maybe they do. But every other one except for A&M and Tennessee and Arkansas, like all of them are bad right now. But I'm gonna go with A&M because they get back on their own. They get back in their own 2 feet. They're barely on one foot right now. And they're going to, they're staying at home. Max Johnson won them a game last week. He started, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. With Max Johnson, I'm more confident in this team. I'm going to pick A&M.
I'm going Arkansas.
Give me that.
Wisconsin versus Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Yeah. I had to have a 10th game. And this
Wisconsin's cool, but Ohio State put up 77 last week. That's, albeit it was against Toledo, but that's hard to do against any team. 77?
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah.
Get Ohio State by 1 billion.
Yeah, I'm thinking Ohio State too.
On to the National Football League. Now, like we said at the start, no lead is safe apparently in the NFL. Like the Ravens. Let's talk about this game. The Ravens are up 35. This is entering the fourth quarter. They're up 35-14. I'm sitting here watching Red Zone like, oh, that friggin' Ravens got this in the bag. I'm gonna just put on Red Zone. The Dolphins tie the game with like halfway through the fourth quarter. Like, what is happening? Come to think of it, actually, it might have been a good idea to put two of the fastest receivers in the entire league on the same team. Like Tua having 6 touchdowns for Tua Tagovailoa? What? That's crazy.
He tied Dan Marino's record.
Like, that's so wild. Like, the first half, even the first 3 quarters, we thought, oh, Lamar Jackson's back. He's rushing for all these yards. He's passing for all these touchdowns. The Ravens got this in the bag. Miami's a bunch of frauds. But no, Ravens are frauds. They give up a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter. Tua is leading the NFL in passing yards. Another game in the 1 o'clock window that featured a comeback. It wasn't this crazy bunch of points comeback. It was the amount of time that they came back in. The Jets were down 13 to the Browns with a minute left or whatever. And, the Jets scoring this long touchdown to Corey Davis. They get the onside kick back, and Joe Flacco, like he's in 2012, leads the Jets downfield, hits Garrett Wilson for a touchdown, and the Jets win in Cleveland. Cleveland Browns are hopeless right now. They are hopeless right now with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. Like, it's not all on Jacoby Brissett. Like, usually you'd look at the Browns being 0-2, see Jacoby Brissett at quarterback, like, oh, it's Jacoby Brissett's fault. But it's like the defense can't stop anybody.
Yeah.
Like, they're bad. Like, the Browns right now are bad. Another comeback was Arizona coming back against the Raiders. Now, the Raiders were up 20-0. The Raiders looked like they were just going to run away with this football game. And we were going to be like, oh, the Cardinals bad this year. Does Kyler Murray stay up late playing the COD beta or whatever? No. The Cardinals wake up. They come back. Kyler Murray says, shut up. And
Bro, did you see that one play that lasted like a minute and a half?
He ran in circles for 80 yards, and then he still ran into the end zone. Like, how do you let that happen?
He ran for 80 yards for a 15-yard touchdown.
Like, he was in the red zone. You'd think, oh, Kyler Murray ran 80 yards for a touchdown? That's crazy. No, he was at the 15 like in the red zone. Yeah, I think it's time to pick the NFL games. I have them. We're not going to pick every game like we did last week. I feel like that's just a lot to cover, because some games aren't worth picking.
We say that.
Like Houston, Chicago, like, I'm not picking that. Like, who cares? But first off, we have Las Vegas at Tennessee.
Hey, you gave me that one out the gate, bro.
Both teams have struggled. Both teams have lost in heartbreaking fashions.
I'm just going to say Devontae Adams is going to have his way.
Yeah, we don't got anybody to cover him.
Like, he's going to do pretty much what Stephon Diggs did.
We might as well just lay down and let him score. Like, I can't pick against Tennessee though. Like these are like I said last week, like these are the games we win. Like we lose to the Giants, and then I was convinced we were just gonna beat the Bills and just keep this narrative that we're just the most bipolar team in the NFL. But I'm still gonna pick the Titans. I'm still gonna pick the Titans. We do have the worst point differential in the entire NFL at the moment. Um, I'm still gonna pick Tennessee. I still am.
Yeah, I don't think we start. I hope we don't start 0-3. I'm gonna pick the Titans, not confidently, but I'm gonna pick the Titans.
It's rough out here in Nashville, but I'm gonna stay true to my football team. I'm gonna pick Tennessee. Next game, Chiefs at the Colts.
Chiefs, no question.
That's not even a question, bro. The Colts couldn't score on the Jaguars. Are the Jags decent this year? They could be. But
they lead the AFC South.
Right now, it looks bad. We thought the Colts were just going to be decent. Like people, like we're convinced the Colts were the best in the division, and then they get shut out by the Jags. The Jags, like what are you on? Yeah, Kansas City by 1 billion. All right, we have the Bills at the Dolphins. The Bills.
This is fun.
We get to see this another time too. The Dolphins are at home.
This is really fun. I don't know
how you pick against the Bills after
the past 2 weeks.
After Monday. I don't know how you pick against them. But the Dolphins, man.
Bro.
I'm gonna pick Buffalo, but this is gonna be a good game.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna pick Buffalo too.
The Ravens at the Patriots. Classic 2010s playoff matchup. But Tom Brady's not here, so I'm gonna pick the Ravens. The Ravens coming off a win, but not a good win. Like they struggled, but I'm gonna go with the Ravens on the road in Foxborough because even though the Ravens lost last week, I think they still look good. Their defense collapsed like majorly. It's hard to be worse than the Ravens defense in the fourth quarter last game. It's really hard, but the Ravens overall I think are better than the Patriots. So I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Ravens too. I think Lamar will have another solid game.
Jaguars at the Chargers. Are the Jaguars for real? I know they only won one game, but they kept it close to Washington, and they shut out the Colts. Herbert's banged up, coming off a loss. Do the Jags pull this one out?
Absolutely not.
I'm going with the Chargers. The Chargers.
I don't care if Herbert don't play. I'm taking the Chargers.
The Rams at the Cardinals. Two teams who have struggled. The Rams almost blew.
Tried to sell against the Falcons.
They almost pulled a Falcons against the Falcons. It was like some space-time synergy that would have made the world explode if the Falcons came back. Twitter would have erupted if the Falcons came back from 28-3. I wasn't ready for that.
Wait, were the Falcons down 28-3?
Yeah, they were.
Oh wow.
That they almost came back. Mariota had this weird he falls down, throws a first down. I'm gonna pick the Rams in this game. I just think they're better. Both coming off wins, both coming off ugly wins. The Rams are better.
Yeah. Dude, I want to disagree on a game, but
have we all picked the same team?
Yes.
That's crazy. Next game though, we might disagree on this one. Packers Bucks in Tampa Bay. 2020 NFC Championship rematch. Two frontrunners for MVPs last year.
Give me it should have been MVP Tampa Tom.
At home. Although Tampa has
Tom Brady has struggled. through the first 2 weeks.
The whole Bucks has struggled.
Well, yeah,
They're lucky.
yeah.
They're lucky that they only played a crippled Jameis last week. They're lucky to have played a Dakless Cowboys team. Like the Bucks have struggled. The Bucks, like they're lucky.
The Bucks picked up Cole Beasley today.
Yeah, I don't know how much that'll change anything. Cole Beasley's like, but the Bucks have struggled despite like the score, the point differential. The Bucks have struggled.
Tom clearly frustrated the other day. He broke another tablet.
I'm gonna go with the Packers. On the road, I'm going with Green Bay.
Yeah, I like Tom in a bounce back game, so give me the Bucks.
I'm going with Green Bay. Give me Aaron Rodgers.
Mike Evans suspended for this game, by the way.
Brady's got no receivers this game. He's got
unless Julio plays.
He's got Cole Beasley and Cameron Beasley and
Julio Jones. What a core.
Give me the Packers for this game on the road. The Sunday night game, Jimmy G and the 49ers go to Denver to take on the Broncos. I don't think this is a question right now. I'm going to go with the 49ers. Denver sucks right now. They look terrible. They look bad. They lost to the freaking Seahawks. And they struggle against the Texans. You struggle against the Texans. You lose to the Seahawks, bro. You're getting booed at your own home stadium. Like, you're Russell Wilson. And you throw for like 30% completion last game against the Texans. Give me the 49ers, bro. This might be a blowout.
That Russ cook.
This might be a blowout.
Russ is burning everything right now. He's cooking.
Well, I think this is going to be I don't want to say easy. Like, anything can happen. Like, the Denver may wake up and, kill the 49ers. But I think the 49ers are gonna win this game handedly.
Is Nick Bosa still healthy?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Niners have a healthy defense.
They're missing Elijah Mitchell, but
yeah. Is George Kittle back?
I don't know. He was a game time for last week, but he may be back. But they've looked decent without him.
Yeah, they still got Debo. I mean, give me the 49ers, though.
49ers all the way. Now, the Monday game, they get weird Monday games this year. They're going Cowboys at the Giants. They could just be riding the Giants hype. I don't know if these are, pre or not, but the Cowboys at the Giants. The Giants are 2-0 with Daniel Jones at quarterback. Who would have thunk? And the Cowboys beat the Bengals last week with Cooper Rush. I'm going to go with the Giants at home on Monday. Give me the Giants at home. I don't think they have anybody to block Micah Parsons, though. But still, give me
Micah.
Parsons is the defensive player of the year right now. He is.
I was about to say that. We didn't do award predictions, but Michael Parsons is my prediction for defensive player of the year.
Yeah, and he's starting off like he hasn't, starting right where he left off from last season. He's leading NFL in sacks right now. He's killing it.
He's got 5 sacks. Yeah. I'm gonna take the Cowboys in this game. I think if Cooper Rush can just get by, then
feed Zeke.
Yeah, feed Tony, somebody.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go with the New York Football Giants to take this game. Start out 3-0. So it's first time since the Vietnam War, and Daniel Jones 3-0 as a quarterback. Who would have thunk? Give me the New York Football Giants.
Give me the Cowboys. Something
special for this episode, since the both college and NFL started off pretty wild. We're gonna do a little bit of overreacting in this episode. I'm gonna give Jackson some overreactions, and he's gonna tell me whether he's buying or selling these overreactions, or whether or not these will pan out. I got 3 for each college and NFL. and I'm going to alternate between them. So, first college overreaction. Georgia will repeat as national champions.
Yeah, it's not crazy to say. I don't think it's it's an overreaction, but I don't think it's an underreaction. Does that make sense? I really don't know how to. I can get behind that, but then I can also get behind Alabama or Ohio State. But I can get more behind Alabama than I can Ohio State right now. I don't know though, because I don't know. Georgia, I would get more behind Georgia than either one of those. So I'm gonna say it's not a real reaction.
Georgia's looking unstoppable right now.
Especially as Stetson Bennett, he's playing like he's playing.
NFL overreaction. Lamar Jackson is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL after how he's played this season.
I have him at 4 on my list. So I don't think it's an overreaction. It's about like the other one. You could argue that he's better than Herbert. I just think I would take Herbert over Lamar. I don't know though.
I mean, I think he's in an MVP conversation right now with the way he's played.
Oh, for sure. But my top 4 is Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, and Lamar. And you could really honestly flop 3 and 4.
Lamar Jackson has played great. Next college one. So that's not an overreaction to you?
No, not really.
Same kind of deal here with college. Caleb Williams is a top 3 quarterback in the country right now.
Yeah, that's not an overreaction. I mean, Bryce, CJ, and Caleb. I mean, it's those 3.
You could argue about Stetson.
You could argue about Stetson, but
with the way he's played.
Yeah. I don't think that's an overreaction at all. Like, I think that's solidified.
Next NFL one. Philly is the best team in the NFC.
That's an overreaction. I saw this. They said this on SportsCenter last night on Scott Van Pelt's show. And I said that then. I'm saying that now. That's an overreaction. I think that's going to end up being the Bucs or the Packers or the Rams.
I mean, they've been playing good.
They have been playing good, but I don't think you said the best team. I don't think they're the best team. At the end of the season, I don't think they're the best team.
I'm talking about right now.
Right now?
Or like anything, I guess. Or is Philly the best team in the NFC?
I think that's an overreaction. I still do. I mean, you beat Kirk Cousins on Monday Night Football. Congrats. So has everybody else.
I mean, they kind of handed it to him.
No, Kirk Cousins handed it to him. I'm not defending Kirk Cousins. I have never, but I'm not defending Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins gave the game away.
All right, last overreactions for each of them. Have 3 each, 6 total. This is a wild one. Michigan is the best team in the Big Ten as of right now. Michigan's looked amazing.
Who are the 3 teams they've played so far?
I'm not saying they're good teams. I'm just saying they've looked amazing.
I think it's a bit of an overreaction at the moment. I would say because Ohio State has the win over Notre Dame, but that don't look that good anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's I was about to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a tad bit of an overreaction. Not much, but a tad bit.
I'm not mad. I think Ohio State's the best team in the Big Ten right now, but I wouldn't be mad if anybody said that Michigan is, because they're right with each other.
Yeah.
They're right with each other. I got this is the fun last one. Lions are the second best team in the NFC North.
That's an overreaction, bro.
I personally don't think it is. I think the Lions have looked pretty decent this year. 35, 36 points first 2 weeks.
Right now, I'm going to say it's overreaction. But DeAndre Swift is a very good running back.
I mean, he's averaging 10 yards a carry right now.
Amon St. Brown is
Amon-Ra St. Brown has been a dog. Jared Goff has been, Jared Goff. He's been good.
I don't know what that means. Like, Jared Goff has been Jared Goff. Is that bad or good?
It's usually bad, but right now Jared Goff has been pretty good to start the season. And after how the Vikings played Monday, right now I personally don't think it's an overreaction.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say it is. I don't even know if it's a tad.
I mean, the Lions are, if they can keep this hot offense going, I think the Lions are, they're playing like the highest paid offense in the NFL right now.
Aiden Hutchinson had like 3 sacks over there, didn't he?
Yeah, he's played pretty well. All right, that is going to be the end of this episode, everybody. We appreciate you guys listening. This was a fun episode to watch, fun episode to make, because how crazy this week was on, both sports. It was pretty crazy, and then we did the little thing at the end. Let me like comment down below if you guys like those little segments at the end. We could probably implement that at the end of every episode. Just some little fun little game to play at the end of the episode. So it's not always business talking about football or whatever. But soon enough we'll start covering playoff baseball. Soon enough we'll start covering the start of the NBA. Start watching out for a collab soon. It's in the works. We'll be working on that. We appreciate you guys listening. We'll see you guys next week.